Hi, this is Robert from GHTR, the nation's podcast radio, and here we are again. I can't believe it. And I'd like to welcome back Chris to the show. How you doing, Chris?
Doing awesome. How are you doing, Robert? Great to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been on the air, right? So anyway, there's been some, the reason why we're doing this, we're bringing back the radio station a little bit more full force than it has been. We do appreciate all the people that have been listening to all of our old shows and stuff. It makes it even better. And it's actually pretty amazing that we have that big of a following. And over years that we've done this show, I mean, it's hard to believe that, we still have that radio listening. It's, how can I say it? It's kind of like
interesting guests on our shows throughout the years. Some amazing guests. Remember, we had the guy from Amityville Horror that was actually.
Oh yeah,
that was
yeah.
Christopher Quintana, I think is his last name.
Yep. I got him in my contact list here on Skype. I was just thinking about him the other day. It'd be nice to get him, seeing that they redid the whole entire show. You know what I'm saying? So
I remember he cried on our show because it bothered him so bad. I mean, just to hear his emotional, what he lived through his life, then to have him have tears in his eyes crying on our show. That was
no doubt. Oh man, what?
Remember we had that one guy, Henry Paul from the Outlaws, on there, and the stories that he told us on there. That was on Late Night with Rob and Chris. Where back in the day, you didn't have to wear seatbelts apparently, and he was talking about where they were in the early days of the band The Outlaws, where he stood up in the back of the pickup truck urinating and going down through Atlanta, and they were holding on to his belt so he wouldn't fall out. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that story. That was actually a pretty good story, to be honest with you. That was like one of those stories.
Jeff Tate from Queensryche would have a vineyard.
Yeah. We had him. Oh God, who else did we have? We had a bunch of people.
We had the Booth Brothers.
Yep. We've had quite a few. So yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty remarkable. All the people that we have had on our show, and we've had a lot of fun too. I can remember having all sorts of fun talking about different things and all this other stuff that was actually coming, to play. But now, tonight, we get to talk about some things that are actually going on. I mean, what really sparked me to come into this whole kit and caboodle of things, and it's just amazing that we're at a situation right now of where we're at, and our country's in being locked down, and it's scaring a lot of people right now.
For a second, Robert, you're actually more than 6 feet away from me, aren't you?
I would say by maybe 1,000 miles. Yep. I think our social distancing is adequate enough. What do you think?
I would say so too. As long as you're wearing your tinfoil hat, we're fine.
It makes it more real, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So, yeah. I mean, it's a good time. It is a good time. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's all been good. So, over the last couple weeks, the United States have been under quarantine with the COVID-19 virus, which is also known as the China virus, the coronavirus, and all this other stuff. And it's really amazing, and how it's affected us as Americans here in our country. And what really gets me is the facts, is that we have our political, there's a big political storm playing off in Washington, D.C. right now, and you have all these medias, the media, who do you believe? Well, what direction do you need to go in? And you have friends that say, oh, you need to go this way, you need to listen to these people, or the other side says, no, you need to listen to these people. I tend to listen to what I want to listen to on my own. I don't.
The same way.
I mean, right. So I think one of the hardest things that's actually going on right now is the facts that, President Trump has been trying to do the best job possible. And his ratings right now are very good. People approve of the way that he's handling this epidemic right now. And but you still have the left who's trying to attack him on it. Just it's horrible. I watched. Go ahead. What?
They continuously bombard this man for trying to do his job. Now, first of all presidents, every president has always had an advisory board of people that they have to tell, like, for example, Dr. Fauci. He's sitting there, advising what we should do. Now, right. You also have people saying where he's, laundered in hundreds of millions of dollars for the big pharmaceutical company, the vaccine companies. I'm not denying any of that. But when you are the leader of the country, you have people that are advising you. That's their job. That is, we appoint these people in office.
Yeah, but see, they're putting the blame. They're
people that get the jobs that are like the CEO of the big pharma companies.
But they're putting the blame. They're putting the blame onto one man. And
I know.
Honestly,
that's absolutely insane, in my opinion, that you would do that. But I understand. You got to look at it like this too. Back before Trump was president, there were people that hated the show, The Apprentice, and that's really about the only time that people got to really know much about Trump other than his accomplishments, which if you study Trump and you look at Trump's history, he has flown sick kids for decades across the United States that airlines wouldn't do. He's did things to help. What about the ice arena, the ice skating ring up in New York City at Grand Central Park up there? There's several million he put into that and didn't ask for a dime. He did it to help his fellow city. And you hear all these people complaining he's out spending all this money on golf trips and this and that. Listen, all presidents around the clock, every president, Obama, Clinton, all of them, every president, you have a security board that's there with you around the clock. You have your transportation that is secure around the clock. So all presidents, it costs so much money per second to spend. No matter if you're playing golf or sleeping, it's the same amount of money to go anywhere by any president. Of course, right. That fluctuates by the time, like today's price, what you charge per hour versus, decades ago, the gas, etc. His aircraft is not going to be cheap on fuel. And if the man wants to go play, 10 rounds of golf a day, I'm fine with that because he's doing a spectacular job as a president of the United States. As long as he's doing the job and America is happy with it. And let's not live in the world of hate. Look at the accomplishments. But then you're going to have people that will always go back and say, well, Obama brought that into play. Trump's just ad-libbing it out. There's always going to be people speaking of hate. But what has happened during his presidency, and what I don't want to end up is one day if the world became extinct because of people doing crazy crap, and they find this planet, the only thing left surviving is rolls of toilet paper stockpiled at people's houses. What does that have to do with the respiratory virus in the first place?
Yeah. It's spooky, is what it is. Honest to God. I mean, if you think about it, matter of fact, I had a friend of mine who I was actually talking to over the weekend, and he was, here's what he was saying. He goes, Robert, he goes, you got to look at this from a different perspective. You have to look at this from a different perspective. And what it is what's actually happening right now in our world is there's something big brewing, and this all goes back to, what is this virus and how come it's taken out a lot of Americans, and he's got it in his head, and he believes he believes that there could be as much as 2-point-something million people that's going to die in the United States of this virus. And then you see other channels, that are saying, it's a serious epidemic, yes, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to stop the spread of it. What makes
November, the CDC posted that they were looking to hire people that would be in charge of quarantined areas in certain states. Now, that was November, right. Last year, November. This was before this happened in America, before we knew anything about the coronavirus, the COVID-19. And this was actually, it was under control, not under control, going out of control in China. And they were actually persecuting doctors and people that were trying to warn us about that.
Right. I remember that. I mean,
Who's to say that now there's so many conspirators out there. They got their foil hats on listening right now. I don't blame you. I got mine on.
I knew you
Listen,
were going to do that. So now I'm just saying, here's
problem
the
with the
deal.
world is right now. What the problem with the world is right now, everybody is in a pandemic of fear.
Okay.
What does fear do to your body? It breaks it down.
Right.
You start losing certain micronutrients in your body. You're unaware of this. And then if you're like a cigarette smoker or a drinker, your body's going to start running out. It's going to deplete magnesium and certain other micronutrients and minerals that are essential to a healthy life. So this is what I want everybody listening to this program around the world. Get your vitamin C out. If you could take vitamin C, your micronutrients and everything. And let's look at some common sense logic. Your body is made of water. Most of
Right.
your body is water. So what do you have to plenish your body with? You have to hydrate it with water. That's the most key essential to life is water. And that means your food you're eating and the water you're consuming. If you're drinking tainted water, you're doing more harm to your body than anything. Make sure your water source is a good, clean water just because it comes out of your sink. And I'm not trying to harm the water supply system. Because let me tell you a real fast story. I lived in Old Hickory, Tennessee, and my water smelled like cabbage. I had it sampled in Old Hickory, and they said it was perfectly fine. So I took it to another water place. And they said if this was pool water, it would be condemned. So,
Right.
there, your water is critically important. You can go buy filtered water, but how's it filtered? Do you trust the source it came from just because it's
Oh
a
yeah,
major?
but the question is who are you going to trust and what filters? You could sit there and take up an hour of this show and try to tell everybody how to filter their water, but we do drink. Me and my wife, we do drink good water. We drink filtered water. We don't drink city water, but we drink filtered water, and I'm good with that. And I'm not,
So,
but again, your what you said is what are we drinking? What is our intake of what are we actually drinking? And has anything been added to this water? You can go the whole conspiracy route all you want, but to me, it, it's all about what's happening right now, and and what's happening is they're shutting down our country, and they're shutting down our country for a reason. Now, I understand why they're not giving us all maybe the information. I get it. I mean, if you think about it, when they said they were going to shut down um, our country and they were going to shut down cities and stuff, people went and flocked to the stores and they cleaned out the stores. I mean, you can't even go shopping right now, and I don't understand it. I have no idea why, but you can't even buy toilet paper. Um, thank
why
God.
were they out of vitamin C?
Well, it could. But the thing about it is even like one day I had when Jody was sick, I had to go to the store. I had to do a little bit of grocery shopping, and while I was there, I was looking, and I was sitting there. I wish I would have took pictures because it was just something out of a movie. People walk around with masks, and all the meats were gone.
Yeah.
All everything is gone. Everything is disappeared. I mean, today was the first day I've been able to buy chicken in 2 weeks
Is
because
this your first time you've been through this?
what's that?
Is this your first time you've been through this?
Been through what?
A situation like this where
There's
you're
never been a situation like this in the United States this severe.
I didn't say United States. I said, have you? Remember when I was in Katrina, the day Katrina hit?
Well, yeah, I get that. I get that part of it, but I'm talking about a national.
No,
They
there's
look
no
at it.
comparison. There's
I
no
know.
comparison yet.
Well, okay.
This is world. This is worldwide.
Well, the thing about it is what I'm trying to say is this is just ridiculous. And here's the funny part about it. Somebody posted something on Facebook, and they go, "Holy crap! Gas is down to $1.25. Yoo-hoo! Too bad we can't go anywhere."
It's 99 cents in Kentucky.
I mean, to me, it was just like, oh wow, it's like this would definitely help the economy. And then you got to, so here's what happens. So we know that we have something happening in our society right now. It's going to affect a lot of small businesses. I happen to work for a HVAC company, and they they're having to change the way that they do business themselves, and they're being very very cautious about it, and they're being particular about everything. I've been actually working. I've actually been working out of my house for 3 weeks because I got a common cold, and they want me 100% no cold. My wife to be 100% no cold before I can come back. I'm able to work out of my house, which is a godsend. But there's a lot of other people that are losing their jobs. There's a lot of small businesses that can't work, and they count on that income coming in. And then, so what does our Congress do? They get together one weekend and they put together a stimulus pack to help out people, to help small businesses, and to help them keep, and it's actually a pretty good deal if you look at it. And the thing that gets me through the whole thing is that on that weekend they had it all. They were shaking hands. Well, I don't think they were shaking hands, but they were making deals. Let's just say that President Trump was ready to sign. There was a few things that they needed to iron out. They were all happy. Monday comes along. Pelosi walks in and throws a wrench in the whole thing, and then suddenly she wants to amend to the stimulus package that has absolutely nothing to do with the virus at all. Has nothing to do with it. Then you got Cortez, who wants to give money to illegal aliens, people who are here in our country illegally. That they should have the right to vote, that they should have access to this money that we're getting. How is that even remotely has anything to do with what's going on in our country? It has nothing to do with it. And this is what's bothering me the most. Is, a lot of people, you know me.
They want to give this money to those people, but you got to think about it too. The small mom and pop businesses are being audited left and right. How's that fair? The illegals can get a tax check.
Well, honest to God, I don't know of any small businesses that are getting audited right now. As a matter of fact, it would,
They get audited all the time.
I don't think so. I've known a lot of people who I don't think so. I'm not going to go down that. I'm not going to say that because I don't believe that it's happening. If they're doing it right, there's no reason to get audited. If you're doing things right, then there's no reason to get audited. If you're not paying the taxes, you're not paying your dues, and you're not doing what you should be doing, yeah, you're gonna get audited. They just don't audit people because they don't like you. They audit you because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that's it. They don't pick and choose. They don't pick on people. That's not what they're there to do. However, there are some people out there that they're towing that thin line, and they know they're doing wrong. They know that they need to pay this, they need to pay that. I've known people. It's just like I've known a couple people right now in my life who had their own businesses, and they didn't pay their payroll taxes, and they basically skimped on it. And what happens? If they didn't pay it, then they owe it. Then they owe penalties. Then they get further behind. As a matter of fact, I know one young gentleman right now who he didn't know how to run business. He didn't know that he had to do this stuff. He says, I'll just pay it later. I'll just pay it later. I'll just take what I can right now. I'll just pay it later. Guess what happens to him later? He has to pay his payroll taxes. The state of Michigan comes after him, asks him why you're not doing it. And now he's got to pay over $60,000 in payroll taxes. And he can't get away from it. He can't file bankruptcy on it. He can't do it. Who's to blame on that? Who's to blame? The guy who did it. What's that?
But the point was, what I was making is, if you're here, you're trying to exist as a small mom and pop company, and this coronavirus outbreak is going to put a lot of companies out of business.
Of course it's going to do that.
You could be illegal and still claim from the government.
Well, that's illegal aliens. Don't use illegal companies running illegal stuff. That's totally different. Okay.
That's not what I'm.
Okay, go. Tell me what you're talking about then.
I was talking about where the people that are here that if you're illegal, you could vote.
Right.
And you could also get checks and
Right.
depend on the government. If you're going to be here, be an American, you should be an American, act American, love your country. Yes, I'm not
And
saying
pay your
that,
taxes.
but you've got to do what you're supposed to do. These are the laws of America, and you have to be legal. You remember these women that I imported from other countries? You're not going to go there.
Yeah, we can. I mean,
No, you don't have.
seriously.
You really don't have to. But you have to pay to become
Uh,
a citizen of the United States, and
oh yes.
I very well know that.
Oh, of course. But the thing about it is there's a process. It's just like I think how we're looking at things. Like let's play on the dark side for a second here. Think about it this way. This is some of the things that drive me insane. I'm going to tell you the things that drive me insane. One thing that drives me insane is our Olympics have been around forever. Okay? Our Olympics is one of the greatest things in this world. The Olympics are just truly are. I love the Olympics because people work their entire lives to be in the Olympics. So now we got these two guys who basically probably couldn't compete, knew that they couldn't win a golden medal in the Olympics, but they're good athletes. Let's just say this. Let's just say they're good athletes. They're good, but they just don't have enough to get to where they want to get. So what do? They identify themselves as female. So now they're competing in the female Olympics, taking away from actual biological women, and that's supposed to be okay. It's not okay. In any way is that okay? I don't care. It's not okay. The other thing that drives me nuts is I don't care if you're bisexual. I don't care bisexual or if you go left or right. I don't care. I don't really care about that. I don't care if you like girls, then you're a girl. I don't care if you're a guy and you like guys.
I thought bisexual meant you paid for it.
That's usually the case. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, do not force. If you come to me and you're a dude, and you say you need to identify me as a woman, I'm not going to identify you as a woman when I know darn well you're a man. It's not going to happen. I will respect whatever wish you want, but I am not going to go down that road. That is not what God intended us to do. I hate to bring up the religion part of it, but that is not. There is male, female, and that's it. There is no in between. But here's how I feel about this. Now I'm gonna get on their side a second. I get it. You want to be recognized, but why is it so important for you guys to throw it in our faces to say that you have to accept it? Why is it that important? You see what I'm getting at?
Well, everybody wants to be accepted for what they are. I understand that.
Of course, yeah, I get that part of it. But why does there need to be? Why is this taking place? And so, like I said earlier, this is what's happening right now in our country, and we need to stop a little bit of this stuff. I mean, identifying. If you can't, like, if you have a speech. Like today on the radio, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, you know how many people just got offended by me saying ladies and gentlemen? But what about the people who don't identify as male or female? What about the ones that don't identify as that? I'm sorry, tough shit. That's just the way it is. Okay?
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I do agree with you on that. I'm not going to sit there and lie about it. If ladies and gentlemen, and that's the way it's going to be in my book too. I mean,
well, the thing of
whatever you want to be, and I say, don't bother me. Whatever you want to be, it does not bother me whatsoever.
Well,
but don't let it bother you about me either.
Well, the thing about it is it's a two-way street. It's kind of like this. One time there was a guy who came from He came from the Middle East. I think he came from. I can't remember exactly where he came from, but he was definitely Muslim. Okay, he came here. He moved into an area close by here, and somebody was flying the American flag out in his yard. It was actually a veteran who was flying it. Okay. And basically, one day, this veteran gets a letter in the mail saying he has to take down his flag because it's offending one of the people on his street. How could an American flag offend anybody? Well, come to find out, here's what come to find out. This Muslim guy came here, and he didn't want the church down the block to have a cross in their yard, in their courtyard. And then he filed a lawsuit against the church to have the cross removed because it offends his religion. Now, listen. So here's the turn of the story. Here's the turnaround. Remember the guy with the flag? Well, the guy with the flag hired an attorney, which happened to be his son. His son filed a lawsuit against the Muslim because his father was, again, offended by him wearing one of those, what do they call them on the heads? I don't want to say it nasty. The thing they wear on their head.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I forget what that's called. But anyway, he had that, and he says he's offended by that because that's his religion. It has everything to do with the religion. He was also offended by the way that he treats his wife. His wife walks down the street. His wife walks behind him. His wife is draped in all these clothes with her face, only her eyes sticking out. He filed a lawsuit against this guy. Who do you think won?
That guy.
The guy doesn't have his flag in his yard. Okay,
so like offended by the statues, trying to change history.
Well, this is what's happening. They're trying to change history. And yet, some of our left people in the left, the Democrats, believe that that's okay. Because we don't want to offend anybody. We're supposed to be America. We're supposed to be, we're supposed to accept everybody.
But, those are the same people that their kids play on a softball team or a baseball team or a football or any kind of sports team, and they lose. So they have to be treated with an award too. In school, they were failing, but they were going to be hurt. They were going to be butthurt because they were failing, and so they had to get a good grade too.
Yep, and that's because we don't want them to feel like they lost. They feel entitled to everything, and you look what it has gotten us.
Robert, it's like in our country, our democracy that we have. Let's say if there's 300 million people, and 200 million vote for one person, and 100 million vote for another person. End of story. The person that had the majority wins.
Well, I agree. I agree 100%. And this is why I'm so driven to this. We can't we cannot allow this crap to happen anymore in our country. We have to put our foot down. The thing about it is we don't want to offend anybody else's religion. Like we don't want our religion offended. We don't want to be told what to do as a country. It's just like you. How would you feel if someone told you, oh, by the way, you need to remove your earring because it offends me. And if you don't remove your earring, it could become a law that if it's offensive, then you cannot wear an earring in your ear no more. But
and they tell us they want to remove our head, and that's offensive.
Well, they'll just cut it off. But the thing about it is what I'm trying to say. And then one person from a different country who wears earrings in both their ears, who has all sorts of jewelry and rings and stuff, yet that's part of their religion.
But it goes, as you said, it's a two-edged sword because I went to church most of my life, and I remember I had longer hair than most of our men and a preacher looked right at me and said that some of our youthful members need to be more concerned about the length of their hair. And I'm looking at that preacher, and behind that preacher is a picture of Jesus Christ with very long hair.
Well, of course, and then the thing about it is that's a different conversation for a different night. Guarantee you we'll come back to this, okay? Because religion is a totally different topic, and it's one that I'm very strong about my beliefs and everything. But I can tell you this, that there is it doesn't matter how long your hair is. It doesn't matter what clothes you wear. The thing about it is it's all about society. It's just like this. If you have friends who dress really nice all the time, and you just don't, maybe it is as this. I know a guy who basically he has some really good friends in his life, and they dress really nice and neat, and they're always dressing neat. Well, this other guy, he dresses what he feels is comfortable for him, but he feels different.
Did you know I had a medical condition why I had to have long hair? I had to have a mullet, and people would laugh at it because I had to have it would cover my redneck.
I knew that was coming. Anyway, so yeah. So anyway, this guy, it is always, it's like, oh, we don't want to go out with this person because but we don't want to hurt his feelings. Yeah, he's a good friend, but he dresses kind of weird. He doesn't dress like us. And what it is the guy that's sitting there is being left out. Has anybody ever thought maybe he doesn't know what to buy, where to buy good clothes, how to dress appropriately? And that's nobody should ever have to feel that. And this is where we have came in this country. I can remember back when I was in high school. I remembered kids who didn't have a lot of money, and just because they dressed a certain way, people picked on them. It's because they didn't have the most popular clothes. They didn't have anything. But if you got to know these people, you found out that they weren't as bad as you thought that they were. And so this is why I keep saying this over and over again. I'm just totally miffed by how things are actually happening right now in our country and how divided we have become. And we have become more divided than I've ever seen in my entire life. I have never known what division.
A few decades ago, we would watch shows on TV like the Jerry Springer Show and think, how absurd, how crazy is that? But in the last 4 years, 5 years of our life, we have seen the most insane things. I've seen 7-foot vaginas. I've seen naked people standing in the street screaming. I've seen some crazy things. People even standing arm in arm blocking traffic on the interstate and wondering why they get run over.
Well, the thing about it is if you want to stand there like a dumbass, you're going to get ran over. The thing about it is what we need to do. What we need to do is I don't understand it. I don't understand why is it so impossible to form one side. Why does there have to be a left and right? Why does there have to be a division at all? Why is it that we need this? So I don't think we need this anymore. Huh?
We have a divided America.
We do. It's not, and the thing about it is it's gotten more and more divided. I mean, look at the impeachment. It was bogus. It was unbelievable. Everything. And Trump, he just pulled at his thing and said, give me your best shot. You ain't got nothing. Why do you people continue to do this? The thing about it is and then when you talk that way, when you actually express any kind of, hey, look what Trump did. You're uneducated. You're a dumbass. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're from the South. You must not have went to school.
Or you're a racist.
Or you're a racist. Yeah.
Or a bigot.
And he's more, and everybody's saying he's a racist. He's a racist. He's a racist. And then everybody's saying he's against women. You know what? Up here in Michigan, Gretchen, I don't know her last name. She's our governor. She gets on. She sits there during her basically, I don't know what you call it, State of the Union talk to Michiganders, letting them know that she's shutting us down. She couldn't go through that whole speech without saying, if some people in Congress would have been doing what they're supposed to do, we wouldn't be in this position that we're in right now. I lost at that moment.
What was her position to do that?
And it had, and basically that's how low.
Nobody wants to take their own responsibility. Is what it is.
No,
we have a lazy society.
And she's complaining and griping about all this other stuff. Sad part about it is I thought maybe she was going to have some decency, because you know what? How many other Democratic states would had Democratic governors praise Donald Trump for what he was doing? There's a lot more than the ones that are bashing him. Here's the other side of this, and this is kind of like one of those things that's actually really kind of cool. If you're asking me, and if you think about it, and you think about it really, I mean, put a lot of thought into this. Okay, you remember the guy I told you I had a talk with? He's from Chicago. Basically, I did an interview with him. And he is going to come on the air. He's going to tell everything that he talked to me about.
Talking about the guy that sold me my aluminum hat?
No. Anyway, so this guy, he had been a Democrat his entire life. He's 76 years old right now, and he has been a Democrat his entire life. Believe me, he is 100% all left. But he's not radical. And so during our conversation, I was a little bit reluctant, because I'm like, I don't want to get into this political argument back and forth, because I just don't want to do it. When I talked to this guy, this is what he told me. He goes, Bob, that is not Democrats. Those are not Democrats. They want to call themselves Democrats, but they're not.
No, they're
not.
not.
That is not a Democrat, and how a Democrat is supposed to act. He says, I have never been more ashamed of the Democratic Party, and this guy used to be in the Senate. And I asked him, so does that mean you're going right? And you know what he told me? Oh, hell no. I go, so you're going to vote for anybody on the left? He goes, oh, hell no. I go, what are you going to do? He goes, I'll make that decision when the time comes, but I guarantee I'm not voting for any of those idiots that are running for president. That's exactly what his words were, and I was just like, whoa.
We've had a taste with this COVID-19 with the socialism,
right?
But you can't look at other countries and say that you love what's happening on the socialist side. We had a society that worked great. Everything was working great until not so many years ago. If we're going to do a forensic of our anatomy of the United States, we're going to have to comb back so many years to find out where we went wrong.
Right.
And there's a lot of fingers to be pointed, but it always comes down to one thing: political gain and money.
Of course.
It always comes down to that. Who's profiting? Who's making the money? Let's go with that direction. We know big pharmaceutical companies are, but we can't point fingers at them. There's certain things you're not allowed to talk about because they'll sue your pants off. Why can't we expose the truth? By the way, one of my friends just got through writing. I seen a message come up talking about in Manila as like a ghost town. This is all around. We're living in a society now where we have to hide inside of our house and have social distancing when we go out. And in Manila, which I know this person very well, hi Hermé, you have to have passes daily just to go out your door to get the food to survive or the medications that you need over a man-made virus.
And how do you feel?
I'm violated. I've lost everything. All my jobs ended. Everything I had ended. And now you can have to go and apply for unemployment. I love working people. I love the society we had before it started going this far left. Listen closely to what I'm saying. You have to be in control of your life. And if somebody's trying to better your country, like, for example, The left was claiming Trump's wall. The right was claiming a wall. Now Mexico wants the wall. That's okay. Nobody is always going to be, you're not going to have somebody that's going to run for president and everybody 100% agrees on. But you're not going to have people out there in the street protesting years later, he's not my president. He is. And until somebody replaces him in office. But yet, you know what gets me? You got all these people that are sitting there saying that they want to execute our president. And why are they not arrested? And why are so many elites, because thanks to Obama, they passed an elite order that you can't arrest, you can't prosecute certain people that are above the law. The hell you can't. If you're caught treason, if you're caught doing something against your country that you shouldn't do, what would John F. Kennedy do back in his day? What would Ronald Reagan do even in his day?
That day would have opened up a can of whoop ass.
You've got to have a strong leader. Maybe he did say he would grab a woman here or whatever. Listen, that was in the privacy of two men drinking. And I'm not defending the man for saying that. Believe me, I've always thought Trump has been an ass. But we needed somebody like that to come in there and do the dirty work and get it done, do the dirty, and clean this country up. Because let me tell you something, all political leaders, in my opinion, if you're going to be in charge, somebody's going to be in charge of all the money, you limit your faith, you limit your trust. But when you're caught with your pants down doing something to your country, like selling uranium, and you're doing other things, or you're destroying evidence, why are you still talking about running for president? Why are you not under the prison?
Why? Think about that for a second. Why do you think it is?
Well, think about the president that passed the elite order where you can't arrest people that are above the law. Who gives you the right to say you're above the law?
Okay. I can go with that. So the question I have for you is why do you think this has all happened? Why do you feel it's happened this way?
Because our country is divided. We don't have leadership that's going to pull it together. You have certain people that are going against the president full force. Now let's analyze this. Who are they funded by? We got a man over in another country. I won't give you his name, but it starts with an S. And it might remind you of Sore Loser or somebody. I don't know. But this man's trying to make laws in our country. Who are you to make laws in our country because you own 5,500 companies?
No,
you want to live here? You want to live here? Then you should have more of a right to make a law.
Well, the thing about it is, this is what I was actually talking about earlier in the show, and I was telling you that we're allowing people to do this stuff. We allow it to happen. And this is why Trump is not allowing anything like this to happen. It's funny that how much we have become reliant on China. How much have we literally became a part of this? You know what I'm saying? Think about it. If China was to take away everything in our whole entire lives, this country would perish.
Let me explain something, because there's a lot of listeners that may not understand what a tariff is. When I was selling my CDs, let's say, Robert, if you're a DJ in Paris, France, I have to pay shipping to get you a CD that I bought. I paid for that CD, replicating everything, and I'm going to send it to you so you play it. All of a sudden, when you go pick up my CD, you're being charged $15 to receive that CD. Then you're going to argue with me. Why are you charging me? I'm not. That's a tariff on that CD. It's equivalent to what you're paying to ship it to you. Okay, now let's look at a large country like China. Why are we paying for the tariffs? This has to be something that they're shipping to us. They're making the profit off of that, but we're paying for it. And it's putting the small mom and pop companies out of business, which comes down to right now to today. There are so many, I would dare not say tens of thousands of mom and pop companies that might not be able to pull through this if it wasn't for the stimulus packet that Trump's trying to propose for us. People that don't understand business try to sit there and argue because they hear it on the news. What do you hear on the news? Do you understand what you're listening to on the news? If it's not your specialist, study it. Go to the facts, learn it, because right now, people, we can't afford to go blindly, whether you're a Trump fan or a Trump hater. With every person that we put in office, you need to understand what it is, why they're in office, and what they're running for. And just because you're told something doesn't mean it's going to happen.
And it doesn't always mean it's true, is exactly what you're saying.
That's exactly
right.
my point. Learn to resource it. And if you're going to hear it on these major news networks, major magazines, listen, you get advertisement. You get the more exposure that you get, like, oh my God, extreme weather. Tomorrow we're going to have, whatever. And it may not be anything,
Oh,
but they're going
that's true.
to.
It's true. It's true. It's actually true. And this is why I keep saying this over and over again. I don't care one way or the other. It's just like I care about what my future is and where I'm going to end up. And, it's been hard for Jody and I to be cooped up in this house and not being able to go anywhere. It's difficult. The weather hasn't been great, for us to go out. Jody's just getting over a cold, so we can't take the dogs for walks yet. But the fact of the matter is we should never have been in this. And then people want to blame Trump for not being prepared. This all goes back to Obama. Obama had an opportunity to create masks and emergency supplies, but he chose not to do it during that last epidemic that we had.
No one cried about it back then, but they are now.
Oh no, that's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. And the thing about it is Trump. I'm just going to say it. He is basically nothing more than a businessman. He's not a politician. That's why he's not doing things the way that the Congress wants him to do things. Even his own party.
He speaks a different language, and that's why he got voted in office, because we needed a change. And the old saying, you should never speak up unless you improve the silence.
Okay. But on the other hand, we have to, even you and I, we have to understand why is it that the left has got their panties all up in a bunch? What is it that has really got them all worked up, that they have spent 3 years doing nothing but trying to get Trump out of office and have not come and proposed any new solutions to our country other than, getting rid of cows, getting rid of gas, getting rid of airplanes and stuff like that. I mean, do you know how much? Oh my God, these people are idiots. You gotta love Cortez. She is the funniest person, Alexandra Cortez.
And she's so damn cute too. But I mean,
she is cute. But the thing about it is how. I actually tweeted her today. I said, imagine how much powerful you would be if you could work together instead of going up there and doing your ranting and raving that you just did, making yourself look like a total ass. Nobody's giving a shit what you're saying.
Do you know why she does that? They have political leaders like Pelosi. That's the one that tells you what you're going to, how high you're going to jump, and you're going to.
I agree with that. Okay, I can go with that. But you know what? She can make a choice. And the choice is not... And the same... What?
I said she absolutely can, yes.
Okay, she can make that choice. She has a choice that she can make. And honestly, if you listen to her, some of the things she talks about, she has really good ideas. But she's not thinking it through. I mean, honest to God, you have no idea. Well, maybe you do because you come from the South, but I'm just joking. But
where she's going to put the balloon on the back of the cow's butt that would keep the gas.
No, it basically, I don't know. She gives me a headache. But anyway, the thing about it is I've listened to a lot of her. I wanted to know who she was. I want to know how she got to be. But the thing about it is she's so damn adorably stupid.
And she can make a ass margarita.
No, yeah. But she also dances pretty good. But the thing about it is what I'm trying to say is like I tweeted her today. I said, can you imagine how powerful you could be if you would just work with people instead of fighting people? And Nancy Pelosi, she's gone. She's history. She's going to go out and she's going to take whoever she can with her. I actually think, my opinion is they literally need to take away every dime that she's ever made. They need to put her in a very low income neighborhood and force her to get a job to feed her dead ass. And that's how I feel about her. Let her know what it's like to be like that.
You know, or move out to Epstein Island and as a tattoo or whatever. She could be Epstein's probably still alive on the island. You never know who to believe anymore. You never know what to believe anymore.
You really don't. And the thing about it is who do you believe in this country? Who do you believe? Who's going to, how is this all going to work out in the end? I mean, to the point where our whole country is shutting down, to the point where we are going to literally because of a virus. And the Democrats are all for it. And they're saying that he's not doing enough. They're not, and they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. He's doing everything. There was actually one woman on, I think it was CNN, that said, listen to Trump. You guys got to listen to this. And Trump gets on there and he says, ships will be in New York by next week. And this woman gets on there. She goes, he is such a liar. There's no way that those ships will ever be there. He's lying to the American people. And guess what just rolled up yesterday?
Speaking of ships rolling in, I've got to say this to the Diffie family. His song, "The Ship's Rolling." Joe Diffie, hats off to you, buddy. I mean, my God, and to the entire family and everybody suffering from this. Mm-hmm. You know, awesome, tremendously. Any loss has been a tremendous loss. Mm-hmm. And Joe Diffie is a friend of mine from back in Nashville. He's I'm devastated. Yesterday when I found this out, I was just a complete loss for words.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people who are dying from this, and it's not done yet. Matter of fact, conversation I was having the other day with a friend of mine. He's a Vietnam vet. I respect this guy with every ounce of my breath I take, and he doesn't know that though. He has no idea how much I respect him. But, I respect him so much that I will not get, he can sit there and he can talk political with me, and I just sit there and I go, yeah, okay. But the thing that gets me is he can talk to me and I start to listen to him. And when I start to listen to him, I start to put two and two together. Sometimes it adds up and sometimes it doesn't. The fact of the matter is who are you listening to? Where are you getting your information from? Is that information credible? Who are we listening to? Who am I listening to? And is that information credible? I can tell you this, though. To all the listeners out there, this is what I have learned from the last 3 years. Okay? Hold on, I gotta get a drink of water here.
You're getting a drink of water. Even the sources like on Facebook, facts have been proven to be wrong so many times.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't go against their way as community, you're violating against community standards. My God, how many times have I been put in Facebook jail? In fact, I'm going to have an inmate party once we can get 6 feet apart or closer.
Yeah, well, this is one of those deals where you seriously have to think about, it's kind of like this. I watch a lot of YouTube. I used to spend a lot of time on Facebook, and it was because everybody was. But I actually, due to a very good friend of mine who pointed something out, one day, all she had to do was say one thing, and she said, people wake up in the morning, the first thing they reach for is their phone. The first thing they look at is Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
When they're sitting on the toilet.
Around the world.
While they're sitting in a restaurant eating breakfast, you look at people and people are on their phones. They're looking at Facebook. They're when they go to church, they're looking at Facebook. And it just was numbing to me, and I thought, you know what? I got to find something else to do. So I started watching a lot of YouTube. And I have watched more YouTube than I care. It's more entertaining for me than Facebook. So if I get up in what?
I said I love YouTube, and I also said a while ago Facebook is extremely popular worldwide.
Yeah, but it's dying. It's gonna hemorrhage, because the fact of the matter is, is people are becoming more aware of what's actually going on. Here's what I saw. I was actually surprised. I was actually told, I was having a conversation with friends, and it was our social little gathering, and he said to me, these millennials, and I go, yeah, millennials. How old are millennials now? Millennials are like in their 30s. Yeah, okay. Wait, now, you mean younger generation? Yeah, those younger generation, those kids, they're all looking at Bernie Sanders as the holy god of everything. It's because everything is free.
Well,
And what's that?
I was just acting like Bernie Sanders.
Oh yeah, he's that poor son of a bitch. He doesn't stand a chance.
What is
I,
this?
I gotta admire his drive though. The one thing I like is I like how he just like, and Joe, oh my God, he is an. I can't wait to see the debate
If I
between
run
him and
president,
Trump.
I'm what was I talking about?
Yeah, that's a. Am I running for president or senate? I don't know. Yeah, he's an idiot. And the thing about it is where in the hell did this guy come from? And the thing about it is I feel kind of sorry for him because he's being put on a pedestal.
The Eddie Murphy. He played in a movie that it wasn't my favorite Eddie Murphy movie, but if you ever watch Pluto Nash,
okay,
and he's walking around with a briefcase full of cash, and when he opens that briefcase up full of cash, the center of the bills have pictures of Hillary Clinton on it. Wait, problems.
Boy, you couldn't. Yeah, she. That's you like Chris. I know our listeners know that you are big into conspiracies and stuff like this. And I was actually laughing. This one guy said to me, he goes, yeah, I've got it all figured out. I know what's happening. I know what the Democrats are up to. And I go, all right, well, tell me what they're up to. See, what they're going to do is they're going to get Joe Biden. He's going to be elected president. Now, he has to have a vice president. Now, Joe Biden is sitting there. He's going to make a woman his vice president. He's gonna fool everybody, and then he's gonna bring in Hillary Clinton to be the vice president. He's gonna resign, and Hillary Clinton will move into the president to be the president.
Well, I can see that. Why he wants to take away our Second Amendment rights too, because somebody's going to get mad and want to shoot him for hugging their kids. They have no throw a bottle at them.
The thing about that is here's what here's the deal. I cannot wait till the debates start up between. I can't wait till he goes up against Donald Trump, because he's gonna tear him apart. Because Donald Trump is gonna come. He's gonna do what he does best.
Don't you think they should start off by having, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble?
Absolutely, that would be the best thing of the world. Because I know that I would love to see Trump come up on that debating stage wearing like boxing gloves and everything going. I would laugh my ass off, to be honest.
One of my favorite things that Trump did was like when Hillary was talking about, where she was talking about if he was president or whatever, and he was like, "Yeah, you'd be in jail."
I know. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Now, as we know that we have to remain neutral, and it sucks because I really understand what everybody is actually doing. I see this whole thing unfolding, and I ask the right people. I have friends that are in the right places, and I ask them what their thoughts are. As a matter of fact, one of my best friends in the world, I always ask him, I go, so what do you think? And he goes, you want to know what I think? I think we're fucked. Excuse the language. I apologize. I don't normally do that. Chris, you know that I never say that, right? But that's what he said. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, this is way beyond any comprehension of anything. He goes, these people are out of their mind. Did you see the State of the Union where Nancy Pelosi ripped up the speech?
My God.
I literally...
The left took up for her.
You want to hear something, though? I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to say this. She made a mistake. She made
She
a
made a lot
huge
of
mistake, and she knows she made a mistake. You want to know how she knows she made a mistake? Because nobody sided really with her about doing that. She found out these little tricks that her and these other people are doing. It ain't working.
all wearing white. Like, my
I
God.
know.
And they took the American flag. You know, when they have their, speeches going on, you hardly ever see an American flag. Now, when they started off, I guarantee you, several years ago, Pelosi and Schumer side by side, they always have flags everywhere. Look back on YouTube, watch the
Oh,
videos.
yeah, I do.
Now you won't find a flag anywhere because somebody who is taking over pretty much certain areas of our country, they're not patriotic.
No.
That's what happened with America when we lost our support of our country, our patriotism.
Well, I actually think this is my prediction. This is Rob's prediction. I know this is odd, but here's what I think. This epidemic is going to I believe it's going to get under control. I believe that we're going to lose a lot of people, though. I believe that we're going to lose quite a few people because, people really aren't following the rules the way that they should be. I believe a lot of small businesses are going belly up because they're too freaking lazy to get off their butts and go to the bank and ask the bank for help. Now, that thing that they just passed gives small businesses that if you have under 500 employees, you qualify for this loan. So basically, you go to your bank, the bank signs you up, you sign a little bit of paperwork, and basically you keep writing checks, and the bank covers it until this thing is over with.
To help small, like for example, they're actually working with these singers, songwriters, entertainers, musicians, artists that they have special laws that they put into order to help us out for unemployment at the full amount.
Knew it.
Different ways to help you out in different loans, and of course you got to pay back certain things.
Well, no, you don't. You don't have to. Here's the deal: the small business. Okay. First off, it's not just about musicians. It's about people who are self-employed. Okay, they qualify.
About that. The one that my lawyer sent me yesterday was strictly for musicians.
What is
entertainers?
I've never seen anything, and I've seen all the paperwork so far.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you here in a little while. My lawyer sent it to me, so
okay.
My lawyer.
So then, but what is the stipulations? They're just not going to give all these people who just claim to be musicians. They're not going to give them a buttload of money.
Nobody said that, but you're not going to go broke and have to sit there and suffer because it's a very large industry. There's a lot of people in that.
No, I get that. It's the entertainment, and I get that. But
when you're self-employed, it's really hard to get anything.
You have to, in order to qualify, you have to pay taxes. They're just not going to give, hey, Bobby over here, he plays the guitar on the corner. He's homeless. Let's give him money. They're not going to do that.
It's common sense. You got to file on your taxes that you're illegal. No, I'm kidding.
Right. But no, I'm just saying. Okay, so back at this whole thing is the small businessman. All he has to do is go down there. There's paperwork, and basically he just writes his bills. He pays his employees. Now, if he pays his employees, he keeps his employees employed. All right, that means he doesn't have to pay back the money. He can write checks for electricity, whatever his business is operating at. He can use that money towards that, but he has to keep his employees employed. That means he has to pay down their 40-hour week, and if some of them are part-time, they're part-time, whatever the case may be. It's the smaller business guys. If they use that money exactly that way, they don't have to pay the money back. But if they do not keep their employees employed, it doesn't matter if they have to sit home. They can sit home and still be paid. That's what that money's for. Now, you can't outsmart the system. You can't sit there and say one thing and say, well, I'll just tell them that they're employed. No, because you have to show exactly the payroll. You have to show it, and the bank is the one that's going to control that. You don't control it. The bank controls it. Basically, that's what it is. Okay? So...
They told me, the IRS told me I can't claim the 3 that I was claiming on my payroll, me, myself, and I, that it had to be one of us.
touche. Anyway, yeah, they're pretty strict on those things, Chris. Yeah, I mean, seriously.
I can't use my 30 kids either.
You want to hear something that's even you want? Oh, I can't wait to tell you this. There's a guy I know who basically he's trying to get a job in the Cayman Islands, right? There's a company that wants to hire him. And so he's like, oh, yeah, I've heard about this. I'll just put my money in the Cayman Islands and I don't have to pay taxes on nothing. Wrong. You can't do that. If you don't live in the Cayman Islands, okay, and you are an American citizen, right, you can open up a bank account in the Cayman Islands. They don't care about that, okay? They don't care. But if you live in the Cayman Islands as an American, you're working there, you cannot. You have to get taxed just like you do in the United States.
Well, they probably have a stipulation in the law that if you're not a male or female and you're not in between and you're something else.
It just drives me insane. All this stuff, man. It's like you can't get ahead, you know. And Ted Cruz, I kind of liked what Ted Cruz was saying. He goes, man. He goes, I think, you know, I'm getting rid of the IRS. We don't need the IRS. We do not need it. We need to abolish the IRS. I'm like, yeah, go Ted. Hell yeah. Let's get rid of the IRS. You know, we don't need them. We pay enough taxes as is.
Every year, your car, your house, your motorcycle, your boat, you know, everything.
It's insane.
All the gas, 50 cents on the gallon for gas here in West Virginia is our tax. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to a very special person out there. Tom from MySpace. Miss you, buddy.
Yeah. What happened to Tom?
No idea.
I think Mark Zuckerberg buried his butt, is what I think.
Tom's like, man, I wish I could come back. I could probably file unemployment.
Yeah. But no, you know, getting back to it, we you know, the thing about it is our country's in bad shape right now. But you know, if we all stick together and do what we're supposed to do, and stop this virus in the tracks. So the good news is today I heard some good news that they do have the cure. They have 2 ways that we can get it, and they're going to start administering. They're going to start sending it out to people. But what we need is that we need the vaccine to stop it from spreading, and I think we're going to do it. I actually think go ahead.
I've had the cure for that for a long time. I've actually, you know, first of all, where I live at, we have all kinds of micro laboratories.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
But if you ate my cooking,
crystal meth is that called?
If you ate my cooking, I guarantee you would not complain about the coronavirus.
Matter of fact, I was actually, me and Jody have been doing something that I haven't shared with anybody. And what we're doing is every day for 10 minutes, what we do is we take a bowl, we put it in the microwave, and we nuke the crap out of it. So the water's boiling in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I mean boiling, I mean it's nuked. It's like radioactive nuked. It's very hot water. Meaning if it hits your hand, you probably wouldn't feel it burning for at least 2-3 minutes because it's that hot. So what we do is then we take a teaspoon of Vicks, and we stir it in there, take a towel, put it over our heads, and let the steam go up into our nostrils for at least 5 minutes.
Oh, my God. I grew up in a family. My mom put Vicks on everything. Have you ever watched Adam Sandler on Don't Mess with the Great Zohan, where everything had hummus on it? That's the way my mom was with Vicks.
Yes.
Put it on your feet. Put it in your nose. Put it on your chest.
I remember my mom putting it on my feet, putting socks on, putting it on my chest, putting it on my throat, and putting it inside my nose. And I'd be like, Vicks, oh my God, I remember that. So, but anyway, that's just what we're doing.
Put it on your.
What's that?
Just heard you say where you're putting that. Then you said butt.
No, you don't want to put it on your butt. But anyway, that would be. That's just like that icy hot. You have it on your hand, and if
Yeah.
you really don't want to itch down there.
And don't brush your teeth with it either.
Oh man. But anyway, yeah, we're doing that, and we're going to continue to do that every other day. Is because I there's this one woman who I talked to, and she says, "Look at what it takes to kill the coronavirus." And I go, "Well, we don't have it. It doesn't matter if you have it. Even if let's say you just got it, you wouldn't know you had it for another 2 weeks."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I get it." So we've been doing this, and I'm going to tell you something. We've only done it once. I'm not going to say we're doing it because we just started. But the thing about it is what it does is you're breathing in that hot steam that has Vicks in it. Believe me, it cleans out your sinuses like you've never been cleaned out before.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that heat, the steam that you're breathing in, will kill the virus if you have it. Yeah.
I did the hair dryer just to find out. It works so much better than the curling iron.
Well,
Have you ever watched what's his name, Jim Carrey, where he, Vera, whatever, where he put the curling iron on his lip to make his lips pretty?
oh no, I didn't see that one.
But actually, the not the curling iron, the hair dryer on low setting with spraying your face with water. I didn't do the water part, but I used it on my face with the hair dryer 2 times, and it worked great.
I tell you, you could do that with a cup of water in the microwave for 5 minutes. Nuke the water, put a towel over your head, and you can get and the treatment is just as good. Now the thing about it is does it good work? I don't know. I don't have the coronavirus, but I can guarantee anything that's in there is getting killed because it's just the way we should do it. And matter of fact, I even thought about shooting a video of her and I doing this because, I think people would say, well, what the heck are these guys doing? Look, all you got to do is put water in a bowl, nuke the crap out of it for 5 minutes.
And you put romaine noodles in it?
No, you got to put the Vicks in there. I believe that you wouldn't want to do that. That would be gross.
I hate to scare people because there's certain surfaces that the virus will cling to. For example, metal. So many hours it will cling and it'll stay alive on that.
Right.
Now it has to have the host. Say humans would be the host. So there are certain things that I've learned throughout the years. I've studied things that cling to certain things. Like, for example, I was married to certain people. But I'm not going to go there, and I'm not going to talk bad about people. But certain things, like your money, for example.
Oh, I hate money. I hate touching money.
I hate money with a passion. But just to help you people out, I'll give you the address to our station or to me. You can send your money to us, and I will help you with your money. You need to get rid of your money right away because it could be attached to your money. To me, I'll make you cash, and I'll give you my direct bank account.
Oh, that was a good one. I almost fell for that. Yeah, I mean, money is gross. Oh, believe me.
Try to find all the places it goes. I mean,
I got goose pimples right now. Oh my God, I can't stand. It's because what you just said. Where did that $1 go? Who has touched it, or who?
And you got it from your stripper friend. So I mean,
I know. Ain't that bad? That's insane. It's just totally insane that would actually happen that way. I just don't get it. I mean, I feel like it's like, have I? I don't understand. I can tell you when it started though. It started when I worked for a small engine place, and I was behind the counter, and I was taking people's credit cards and taking their money. And I rarely get sick. Now, the older I got, though, more I'm getting a little bit sick. I'm starting to notice that. But I made it this year all the way till 3 weeks ago. I got a common cold. Okay, but the story goes back to when I was working for the small engine. I was handling money, and I got sick like 3 or 4 different times. And I said, that's it. So I got hand sanitizer underneath the counter. Every time I touched anybody's credit card, I'd wash my hands. Anytime I touched anybody's money, I'd wash my hands. Anytime I'd take the money out of the till, I'd wash my hands with that stuff. Because and this one guy, he goes, "Well, that's kind of rude." And I go, "Dude, it's not rude. I just don't want your germs."
That's exactly right. You watch my karaoke shows where I wipe the mic down after every singer?
You should.
Yeah, I mean, there's several factors involved
What
with
do
that.
do you dip it in a jar of whiskey or?
Ah, well, no, but they say alcohol actually kills it. So cheers. No kidding.
Yeah,
The
yeah. You ain't doing that right now. That's
No, no,
definitely.
I'm drinking coffee. At my shows, I take Lysol wipes, and I encourage everybody to carry their own Lysol and hand sanitizer, etc. But I would wipe the microphone stand and the cord behind every singer that was singing, and I let everybody know. I hope this does not offend you, but I'm just trying to keep us safe because you never know. And that was before they actually started the pandemic.
Well, I remember a while ago. When I say a while ago, I'm talking years ago. I was actually there was a singer, and I was actually taking pictures, and all of a sudden, I took this really against the lights. I took this picture, and I got it at the right time, and all I seen was a bunch of spit coming out of this guy's mouth right into the mic. I mean, you couldn't have got a better shot. It looked like and I go, "Oh, crap. You need to wipe that mic off before anybody else is singing on that." That guy just spit all of his germs, and then here comes another guy, grabs the mic, and he's sitting there almost sucking on it and stuff like that. I'm like, Lord have mercy. These people need their own mics.
I am a germophobic. I am. I carry sanitizer everywhere I go. I've did this for years. That's the way I've always been. My gear shifter inside my car has a thing of hand sanitizer hanging from my gear shifter.
You need it. In this day and age, you need it because you never know what you're going to get. But this is why right now, in this day and age, right now, why we're going through this pandemic and everything is just up in arms. People are worried. People are getting scared. I don't blame you. I'm a little bit scared about it, and I don't know what's going to happen. But the thing about it is I'm not going to be one of those people that say, yeah, it's just made up BS. It's not, because why else would they shut down? Here's the thing. I actually heard a guy the other day talking about this on YouTube. Yeah, you know who shut down our country? It's those Democrats. I go, no. They did not have anything to do with shutting down our country. I'll tell you what happened. Is in January, Trump put travel ban on China. He got ridiculed for it, and then they decided to impeach his ass. Okay, and then all focus is on his impeachment while this pandemic is going on. What's Trump doing in between being impeached? He's taking care of the coronavirus. He's getting things in place. He's letting these idiots do their thing. What happens? What happens next? What really seriously? What happens next is basically now we have this virus, and he closing the borders. He's even going to close down. The funny part about it is what you said earlier. Yeah, Mexico, they're closing their borders on us now. Heck yeah, go for it. And so is Canada. Yes, do it. We don't want to infect you any more than we want you guys to infect us.
I understand, and I try to look at both sides before I actually make up in my own mind what I think is right and wrong, what leads to my decision, so I vote for. I would love to have a whole world that freely can travel where you want, freely can live where you want, and no borders you can cross in as you want, but that's not practical.
No.
And that eventually it will lead to that, because that's where we're going to have one world order, and that's what they're trying to get now, is lead it to one world order. We're not going to have currency that is only in America. You can spend your chip in your finger anywhere you want to go.
Chris, are we going down the conspiracy road?
I'm going down a conspiracy. I'm edging off of that, getting back to what I was talking about.
Okay, thank you.
You have a country that you have borders. There's a reason why we have borders. Well, they always go back. Well, we tore down the Berlin Wall. Well, no, there's a lot of countries that still have walls. You cannot have situations like this when you have to contain your area. You have to contain it because of the COVID-19 virus going around.
Right.
Whatever reasons you have, we have a federal government here. We have a country that you have to shut all borders down. Well, they'll find other ways to get in. They may, and they may not. There won't be as many.
I think honestly, what we need to do as a country, we need to start taking care of ourselves. I mean, yeah, we can do some importing, exporting to China. I mean, we don't want to totally leave them, out there. But the thing about it is we definitely, when it comes to health in our country, we need to take care of our own stuff.
Look how many countries we send billions of dollars to a year in helping them out, and they want to always trash our country. They want to talk bad about our country, and they want to come.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? This is something that's actually kind of. I heard this, and think about it. The billions and billions and trillions of dollars we send to other countries. What do you think that could do for the American people?
Oh my God!
People who are homeless and everything else.
Well,
why is it that we need to send? Why do we need? I mean, I don't mind helping people out. I don't mind that. It doesn't. But we need to take care of us first. I would think that. I mean,
I believe there's so many ways that you should never have a starving children anywhere on earth. And with our technology today, instead of building stuff that's just unnecessary and all this quarreling, fighting, even just look at the money they used on the impeachment alone. That money could have been used to feed children that are dying. Starving.
Yep.
When I went to the Philippines, I seen children from Yolanda, Haiyan, which was a typhoon that was in 2013 that hit over there. I believe it was 2013. And it killed like 10,000 people. And when I was there, I seen all these little beautiful naked children on the streets that had no mom or dad. And I'm sitting there feeding them and trying to, just me. Who am I?
Right.
Their country is 49% poverty. And I'm not blaming Rodrigo Duterte, their president. He reminds me of John Wayne. And I love John Wayne, by the way. You have to, with your own country, who you vote for your president, whoever wins, wins. You go along with what your president says. If you don't like it, you impeach your president. That's what they try to do. If your president lied and said he's not going to do this, well, they're trying this with our president, saying he didn't lie about jack crap. I don't know what to say on here without getting violated with rules, but we're lucky to have Trump as the president, in my opinion. But you know what? I should have the right to say my opinion. The point is, if no matter what your religion, what your vote, Democratic, liberal, Republican, we should have a right as a Democrat to have our own choice, freedoms. But you're slowly taking our freedoms away and dividing our country.
Well, they've already divided the country. They're not trying to divide it. It's already divided.
Of course it is. It's divided, but they're making it worse for what purpose? Political gain.
It is. And the thing about it is if you take and here's all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting up on my soapbox because I'm about to ready to rip into everything right now. So hold on, Chris. You've heard this conversation before, so you might want to step back just a little bit. So here it is. So we have politicians in our White House, okay, in Congress. We have them in our, we have the governor. We have our senators and everything. They're all making money. We're not talking, they're not making minimum wage. These people are making over $100,000+ a year. Sometimes more than that. Sometimes three, 4 times more than that, okay? They're making money, all right? When they finish, when they're done being a senator, when they're done being a governor, when they're done being any kind of a political thing, they get to keep their salary for the rest of their life. Not only do they get that, but they also get 100% medical. That means not only for them, but they get medical for their entire family. Okay, so our military's out there spilling their blood. These guys, they don't get nothing. They get crap. They get their VA benefits, which I'm sure there's some good benefits in there. But why do they need to go through all the red tape for medical? Why do they need to do this? Why do they need to do that? And Donald Trump has actually passed it so these guys can go to any other. He has to stop right now. He has to concentrate on the virus right now. But I guarantee in his second term that he is going to help out our vets, because this man is very loyal to our vets. And if they don't, if you're listening and you don't believe it, tough crap, because I'm telling you right now, I don't give a crap. Our troops are treated with disrespect. They come home, they have no jobs to go to, they have no money in their pockets. I'm not saying that you have to continue to give them their salaries, but give these guys something to go home to and make it easy for them to go home to these. Get into a skilled trade. Help them to cope with it. Because what makes them more depressed is when they come home and they have nothing. And they can't get a job right away because they might have post-traumatic stress disorder. They might be missing an arm, a leg, or whatever it takes. As a country...
They asked for 45,000, I believe it was, and this when they were trying to get this bill passed for the stimulus.
Oh, sorry.
Their salaries would increase.
Yeah, but no, you're looking at it that wrong. I'll explain that to you later. It's their salary. Oh, you mean the political salaries? Okay, yes, and that's what I'm talking about. This is just unbelievable. And then they literally spit on our U.S. soldiers. And the thing about it is why do we do this as a country? Why do we do this and we continue to pay these politicians to put us in the position we're right now? We can't get along. We can't do nothing. We cannot even freaking go and vote on a stimulus package without somebody's little greedy, grubby hands getting in there and saying, if you don't put this in here, I'm not going to sign it. Well, you know what? Take that person out back in the courtyard and put a bullet in their head. Who's next? I bet you that bill would pass in a freaking heartbeat.
Yeah, and you can't even say that on Facebook because that's against community standards. You're in jail 30 days.
Well, guess what? This is my radio station. I can say whatever I want.
That's right.
I'll put myself in GHTR jail or whatever. But am I right or wrong? I mean, the thing about it is...
Correct. And not only that, what they're making on their salaries, their student loans and their family student loans are completely forgiven.
Yes.
But the average working man has to pay for that.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, because this is another problem we have, okay? We want our kids to go to college. We do. Okay, but here's me working with the Buster Mathis Foundation and working in the skilled trades, I learned way, way too much about college. I learned way too much. Here's a scenario. I'm not going to bring up any names, but I know of a young lady who basically has a learning disability. And her transcripts had proven that she had a learning disability, okay? That she basically could not do college level work, okay? She wanted to go to college, but this college, Phoenix College, signed this girl up for classes they just made it so easy for her to sign up, knowing that she couldn't do the work. Okay? Knowing that she couldn't do the work. They knew she would fail, but they still charged her for tuition, gave her money for books.
And a lot of your schools that are not accredited, which means you cannot transfer your credits to an accredited college like University of Charleston or something.
Correct. And here's the deal. So this is what I'm getting at. So what I learned is I was surprised. I thought, you go to college and you get a degree that you're going to go out there and you're going to get a job that you went to college for. And what I was told, and it surprised the living crap out of me, that ready for this, only 14% of college graduates end up in their chosen career path.
That does not surprise me one bit. And anything underneath a bachelor's degree is pretty much a waste of time.
Well,
And if you're talking going with a master's degree, you're only talking a couple bucks an hour, if that, on the average job more.
yeah, you better be careful because you got a lot of people out there that.
I know, and I'm not trying to harm any. I mean, God, I owe so much. I could buy a house with my student loans that I still owe, a nice house.
But the thing about it
is for 6 years, but I could have learned a lot what I've already learned in college through a simple vocational school.
Well, the thing about it is here it is. 14% is a very low number, and compared to the millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars that these colleges are putting out there, the skilled trade is where it's at.
Well, that's why I just got vocational schools.
Yeah,
if I could do it all over again, and I wanted to go to work in a certain career, you could learn in a faster time. And I'm not being paid to say this, but vocational schools, you can get the same thing. Like you could do a 2-year RN license.
Yep.
Or 4-year for an RN license.
Right.
And
it's a 4-year. It's 4 years.
It's 2 years in a vocation. I know this to be a fact.
I don't know about now.
I've already went through it.
Now, I don't think now that's allowed. I don't know.
It is.
Because I was just.
I have a lot of friends that went to get their RN license in 2 years through vocational schools. Then I also have lots of friends that are RNs that went through a 4-year degree and then added certain. If you want to, let's say, for example, if you're in orthopedics and you want to train in a certain area, then you can go for different credits. And you could also get in management in that. There's several.
You're right, because radiation technicians are, that surprises the crap out of me how many people are needed for that profession. Radiation, people who take your x-rays and stuff like that. I was actually surprised at how many jobs they need those people. They need those type of people. It just drives me insane how. And yeah, you don't need to go to college for that. You just go. It's like a trade school. You go to it, you become certified. It's just like. Go ahead.
One of my good friends, who's an RN and was an RN in the Philippines, was telling me that she could work 80 hours a week, make $200 a month, and that's great money there.
Mm-hmm.
And here, the amount of money that an RN could make varies if you're going private practice or if you're just going into a hospital. But there are so many different ways to get your same license today.
Okay, so this is why I keep saying this over and over again. This is how our country is. Totally screwed up. But the thing about it is I don't think we're totally screwed up. I just think that we need to get rid. It's funny that you brought up just a little while ago, one world order. And I'm not one of the people that would believe in anything like that. But I believe that there should be one government. I don't believe that there should be a right. I don't believe that there should be a left or right. I believe that we should have one government, okay? And we should vote, the American people should vote in who's going to be the president of that. And the president cannot be left or right. They just have to be, all right, this is the next guy that's going to take over where the less.
It's a simple decision. Vote for me.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to be? It's not, we don't do that no more. We just, you just finished your terms. The next guy will take off where we left off. How hard is that? Can you imagine? I know it sounds stupid. I know that there's people out there going, you can't do that. You got to have a left and right. You got to have Democrats and you got to have Republicans. You got to have these people. To me, it would be so simple if we just we're able to have one, you all work together, just keep going in the right direction. I mean, like Trump says, what do you got to lose? We don't have nothing to lose.
It's being honest with your campaign first off. If you vote for me, I promise to screw our country up.
Yeah, well, it could do that. And the thing about it is we all together, we have to be, together and do this exactly right. We can't, it's just really so sad. It's sad. I think about it all the time, Chris. I think that how much better we could be. And, and Trump just recently I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Trump during a press conference the other day, I literally saw the real him for the first time.
You know,
He looks. Go ahead.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He
Wait.
goes. He goes. He sits there, and you can see that he's worn out. He's tired, and he says to this reporter, he goes, "Why? Why do you feel the need to say those things? It makes you a bad reporter. Why? Why do you? And it makes her a bad reporter. Makes her a bad reporter. Makes him a bad reporter."
But it's for the ratings. That's all the press is for, the ratings.
Well, I get that. I get that, Chris. I get that. But you know what? Those ones that are criticizing, if you go and you look at their ratings look on Twitter, and you look on YouTube, you're gonna see that most of the people right now in our country, and it has increased tremendously in the last 3 weeks. Everybody's listening to the ones that aren't out there bashing Trump on a daily basis. Their numbers are dying. They're literally destroying themselves.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are.
And it no one wants to hear it anymore. Everybody's tired of it. And this is coming, Lord have mercy. It's coming from everybody. It's coming. It's not. What's that?
Do you remember the image of the reporters that were standing in the lower level that had water gathered? Like they're out there in this boat floating out there talking about the floodwaters, and you see somebody walking by behind them, looking at them.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's your proof that they're lying. They lie. And here's how I know they lied. Is I have tweets that come to my phone from Donald Trump all the time. And I seen from CNN, MSNBC, I see these reporters. Trump tweeted today. This is what he said, and they show the tweet, but how they came up with it, how they came up with what he said, didn't make sense. But if you read it, he's saying, "Hey, that a boy, for getting this done, great job." But you know what? They twisted it to say something different. They said that he said this. And this is why during that conference, it's like you could tell. He was like, "Why do you people keep doing this? I never said that. I never said that. I've done nothing wrong." And you keep pushing. You keep all the time. I wouldn't doubt if Trump at the end of this term says, "You know what? I'm not dealing with this crap no more."
Yeah.
You know,
and people are like, he's only president because he's trying to butter his own family. And this,
no, he's not.
Other people like Biden and Pelosi and their children, they are, regardless.
You want to hear something that would be awesome?
What's that?
This would be awesome. Trump wins next election. On the day that he wins the election, his son Don steps up to the podium, does a nice speech for his dad, turns to his dad and says, "Dad, I will take over for you after this next election. I'm going to run. Don Jr. is going to run for president after his dad's done."
There would be people that their roots of their hair would start frying.
Hillary Clinton's head would explode. Can you imagine how many people would freaking go totally nuts? Oh, like those people, when Trump at the end of the night, you ever watch those videos where Trump will never be the president? He cannot win. Hillary Clinton, and then Hillary Clinton, like a total dumbass, releases her book to the public, Madam President, a day before the election's over, and then she yells on there, "Why don't I have 50%? Because nobody wants you as the president, you
Look at all the people that came out with proof against her. Just all of a sudden, nearly 100 people or so that we know of
Oh,
killed themselves. And she had the nerve to speech that everybody heard the speech where she was like, if I go down, you're all going down with me. What does this mean?
yeah. Well, the thing about it is that's absolutely positively true. You want to hear something that's even better yet? I know you're not on Twitter. Okay, I know you have an account, but you never get on Twitter. You never follow Twitter, which that's okay. You see it maybe in Facebook or whatever the case may be. But I have Twitter on my phone, and I follow it a lot. And I mean a lot. And I get to see all of Hollywood bashing Trump. Now, the funny part about it is, here's the funny part about it, is I thought, okay, I'll just say her name because I really don't care if she hears this or not. But one day I was looking at my tweets, and Rosie O'Donnell's up there running her frickin' big mouth, and Chelsea Handler is up there running her big mouth about how bad Trump is. He's a sexist and all this other stuff. And then, of course, you hear all these other people saying he needs to be assassinated. No one's doing anything about it, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, I'm used to hearing these people because they're washed up anyway. They don't have careers. They get the reason why they're on Twitter so much is because they don't have a job to go to. They're washed up. They don't have no movies that they're shooting or anything like that.
What's that trailer park show called? The View?
Yeah, that's about as worthless as a bucket of panther piss. But anyway, here's the deal. They I remember The View when they used to talk about other things other than what they do now. Today every day is a political. You know why it's political? Because they got what you called it just a little while ago, their ratings.
Yep.
No one cares about what those women have to say. No one gives a crap about Whoopi Goldberg. No one gives a crap about her.
When Whoopi Goldberg was, when I was a fan of hers, was when she was an actress.
Well, she was a comedian first. I mean, she was really funny. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know what happened to her.
She was known for. That was when they get out there and then they are the know-all of all, and they're bashing a president that apparently their country loves because we put him as president. And they want to start all this stuff like Russian collusion, but yet we proved that we caught him with the uranium.
I get that, but the thing about it is what getting back to what I was saying. Is so I'm on Twitter and I'm listening to all these yahoos. To me they're washed up. They're nobody. And then so then there's this one incident that happens where Ellen DeGeneres is sitting next to Donald Trump, and people go totally ape crap over her sitting next to Donald Trump, and it shows her tweeting on her phone, or I don't know what she was tweeting, or she might have been texting her wife or whatever the case may be. I don't care. Ellen DeGeneres got so ticked off, she sent a message out to all of her fans. It's none of your business what I sit next to.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, good for her. She doesn't like Trump any more than the other ones do, but she, what? She was out there by herself at a game somewhere, enjoying her night, and someone took a picture of her sitting next to Trump. Or maybe it might not have been Trump. I don't know who she was sitting next to. It was somebody.
It wasn't.
It was what?
It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. You're not that important yet. Well, okay. You might be. But anyway, so the thing about it is, so I'm on Twitter one day, and all of a sudden, I see a name that came up bashing Trump. Out of the blue, I couldn't believe it. And I go to myself, why you? Why would you open up your mouth? You are like one of the best actresses in Hollywood. You have done more for organizations and everything than any other actor who has ever opened up their mouth. You are definitely, and her father was one of the best actors ever.
Get to the point, you're killing me. Who is it?
Tatum O'Neal.
What?
Yeah. she's on there posting the same. I keep hitting my mic. She's saying the same crap that Rosie O'Donnell is saying, out of the blue, and I'm like, so I tweet back, and I go, "Oh God, please, Tatum, not you. You're like a national treasure to everybody. I mean, she is. She's any movie that she's ever made." And then I start seeing, I'm like, take her out of the equation for a second. And then I seen John Cryer on there. He's doing it now. He didn't have anything to say. But do these people think that people are going to fall in love with them? Do you know what this is done and over with? A lot of these actors will probably never have jobs ever again. And then the thing about it is it's on a daily basis. These people are bashing. But you know what I see, though? Not many people are listening. Not many people are responding.
Oops.
So they're talking to dead air.
Oh,
People don't give a people don't give a shit about that anymore. People don't care about that anymore. And that's what I'm trying to say. Here's, we're coming up on last 15 minutes of the show here, and I want to say something, and then I want to hear what your thoughts are. We have a great country, and I love this country. I love my job. I love the people who I work with. By the way, hi Grant and Keith. By the way, I love who I work with. I love these people, and because it's the only company I've ever worked with that truly is a family-oriented company. And I mean, when I say that, it's not because I'm just saying it. It's because I mean it. They take care of their people. A lot of companies need to be like that. Okay? I love this country. I want to see all good things happen to all people. I want to see people have the same opportunities as all people. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, your religion, or anything like that. I don't care about none of that stuff. All I care about is our country being where it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, just get legal. Get legal. That even includes the micro laboratories up here. Get legal.
Oh, yes.
If you're going to be a part of this great country and you want to vote and you want to get a driver's license, just be an American. If you're in our country,
it's
if
easy.
in Canada, be Canadian, or in Mexico, be a Mexican.
But the thing about it is that we're not trying to say that we don't want these people in our country. We just want you to come in here and have the same opportunities. Here's the deal. If you come in here illegally, you don't have the same opportunities. And then you're going to get deported back. If you come... Here's the question, and maybe I don't know this. Maybe I need to be educated on this. Because I'm sure you don't have an answer for it either. You can guess. I can guess too. But if you go and do it properly, you become a U.S. citizen, then you're illegal. You're illegal to be in this country. You are an American. You know what? You don't even have that tag on you. You are an American. You don't have to be, say, legal American. You don't even have to use that.
You're an American.
That you are an American. Now, if you come into our country and you want to get jobs, and you don't become a U.S. citizen, we make it possible for everybody to become a U.S. citizen. They do not discriminate. But if you're a felon, you're a murderer, a pedophile, and everything else, yeah, we don't want you here. Plain and simple. And it doesn't matter who you are. You could be the nicest person in the world. We just don't want you here. We need to take care of our veterans more. We need to take care of our veterans first before our politicians. I can tell you that right now. Trump could go into the second term full blast and do everything for our military and make sure that our military is taken care of, and it's going to change the world and the lives of so many people. That's all he needs to do. The other thing I want to talk about is division. We don't need to do this no more. And I'm going to just say this. This is why before the show, Chris and I had a conversation about this. This station will not be divided. We're not taking a left. We're not taking a right. Tonight you heard a lot of negativity on the left side. Okay? But that's only because that's all we have. Show me something positive. Give me something to look at, and I guarantee you, if it's something that would better our country, I'm all for it. But it can't be stupid. We can't get rid of cows because they fart. That just can't happen. Okay, I believe that we need to do something different with our plastics. I believe that we need, what gets me is we have the technology to take our plastic and use it to make highways with. We have the technology to build homes with it. We have the technology to do a lot of things with recycled plastic. But yet
and rubber too. They were talking about using recycle that rubber.
They did that. There's a road in Colorado that's over, I think it's like 55 miles long. It was completely made out of rubber. And
they made that out of condoms?
Huh?
They made it from condoms?
You're so dumb. Anyway, the thing about it is we have the technology, but see, the problem is technology is expensive. Yes, it's expensive. We need to make our own medical supplies here in the United States. That's one huge thing.
Guest on our show? You remember I didn't mean to catch up, but you remember we had the guest on our show about the solar specialist, and he was talking, this was years ago, that our brand new solar panels that are not out as of date when he was on our show were actually studied from the spinach enzymes, the chlorophyll, how they work.
Right.
That was actually they're 80% more efficient than what they were then. Now, if you think about that, we have a sun that powers every living thing on Earth. That's plants, that's grass, trees, and humans, even farting cows. If that sun is that powerful, then we should be able to contain that energy to sustain.
Is right. That is right. Right.
See, to sustain.
Well, when it all comes down to it, is here it is. You will never hear me. I'm not a person, and Chris knows this. I am a very neutral person. I've pissed off a lot of our guests. Believe me, a lot, and it's only because it's not that I don't believe. It's just don't give me crap. I don't want crap. As a matter of fact, we were talking about that before the show. Remember, Chris? It's like Chris gets a charge out of it because he knows, man, it just takes one thing for me to go, oh, crap, here we go. There was a conversation that we were coming at. Don't give me crap. Because, someone comes on our show and I interview them. Don't be offended if I come at you.
We had a guest on there one time that was a Bigfoot activist, and Robert wanted to shoot the Bigfoot.
Well, that's not really how the conversation went. The conversation, here's the story behind that. So we had this guy that was on our show. It was on Monster Theater. And the guy is a renowned Bigfoot activist. He is, believe me, when I say this guy is like, it's the holy grail for him. He believes everything. He believes that Bigfoot exists. And he come up with a whole bunch of stuff. Now, during this interview, Chris knew that he could hear me in the background waiting. Like, to go, what the hell is going on here? You people are all nuts.
High burner on the stove waiting to up.
Yes, and all of a sudden, there was my opportunity. And I got to ask a question. I said, so you're telling me that if you had an opportunity to prove that a Bigfoot existed, and even though that this thing was coming at you, you wouldn't shoot it. You would let this thing run you over or kill you or throw a rock at you the size of a freaking car, whatever. And this guy says to me, no. He goes, they won't do that, blah, 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 blah. And he's giving me more excuses. And I said, I can guarantee you this. If I seen a Bigfoot out in the wilderness, I'd be the richest man in the world. Because I'm going to take that sucker down, I'm going to drag him up, put him on top of my car, and I'll be the richest man in the world. Because I just proved that Bigfoot does exist. And I don't need to, oh, this guy. You shoot him, I'll shoot you. You remember that?
How could I forget?
Chris is like typing, just settle down. You're pissing this guy off. It's like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. So, the thing about it is in our country right now, as Americans, there's no reason to divide. If we work together, we can conquer this virus. We need to work together. We don't need a left. We don't need a right.
Disagree. You don't have to fight about it.
Just, you know what? Support your president. He's doing the best job possible right now because there ain't a president could be in his place right now that Hillary, there's a picture I have on our website. What would have happened if Hillary Clinton had become president? And it's a nuclear explosion. Because that's exactly, it might not have been a real, but I'm just saying the devastation would have been horrendous. Yeah. You need to stop and listen. Because that's where our country's going. So, Chris, you got 4 minutes.
Believe the first thing they hear. They believe the first thing they hear. That expels logical thinking. But the illogical part of that logical thinking is you're listening to that person and not doing the research.
That's true. So go ahead. You got the floor.
Do the research, people. No matter who it is, no matter what side you're on, don't believe everything you hear. Do the research. Find out if it's legitimate. And, a lot of people like the Bible Belt thumpers. They're going to recite a simple sentence out of the Bible. God did this. Okay, but read the chapters before that, what led to that. And that's the same thing with politics. That's the same thing with anything that you're doing. Just because of you or CNN or Fox said it does not mean it's true. Support your
country. Well.
You live in this country. This is our country. You need to have a set of pride to our country. Let's make it a better place. Fighting and a division is not better because a house that divides itself will fall. They've always said that. A house that's divided. Actually, they never lived in a double wide.
That's true. My favorite saying, united we stand, divided we fall. And we're falling. Folks, this is what division does. Our country is falling apart, and it's not because of Donald Trump. It's because of us as a nation. We're divided. We're not working together to fix the solution. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So I want to thank everybody for listening to the show tonight. Chris, hey, thanks a lot for coming on, taking some time out of your, well, I guess you don't have that busy schedule anymore. You're kind of sitting home too. So I do appreciate everything that you've done. And we will be back. As a matter of fact, we will be back again. We're actually probably in I'd say, depending on how things are going to work, we're going to bring back Late Night with Rob and Chris, which has been, people are wanting that back. But I believe that right now we need to focus on what's going on, our views, and maybe get some guests on here to help talk about it. And maybe do something to help us understand what's going on in our country. Like I said, it's black and white. There's no gray area. We need to work together to make this country a great country. Chris, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, you said everything I would right on the words of my mouth.
Okay, so just keep that thought and process. Do what you need to do as a country. We are a country that can work together. And there is no reason why we can't. The way I look at it, you need to put God first. God needs to be first in everything that we do. For you atheists out there, sorry about your bad luck, but that's where I'm coming from. You do, whatever faith you got, if you want to do whatever you do, I'm not going to look down on you for whatever. But my heart goes, God's number one. All right? So with that being said,
Link on there, Robert. When we share the links to the show, I'll put the link to the artist out there that my lawyer sent me today that is sent from our government that's specifically designed to help the industry.
that's fine. All right. All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. I can't tell you when we'll be back, but we'll let you know, I guess. So y'all have
employment. I said, Facebook, Tom, get your unemployment filled out.
There you go.
Or MySpace.
Right. We'll see you later. Good night, everybody.